Hello and welcome to Universal Love Law. Thank you so much for joining me today, where I'm going to be making a very simple video just to catch everyone up on the information that I have provided for you today. Okay, so today we're going to talk a little bit about modalities and elements just because we need a refresher, and I think it's really great for those people who are learning astrology and want to become more sound tuned, right? And have a clearer understanding of the the energies behind the modalities and the elements. Okay, so when we take the animalistic or the personas, which is the archetypes or the character of astrology, when we take those away, we're left with the energy signatures behind each of the modalities and elements. Okay, so we all know there are four elements in astrology. These correlate to other different spiritualities, cosmologies, customs, religions, and practices, right? Elements are correlated to things across the board. So we utilize astrology as a tool to understanding life, right? The energies that are taking place in front of us. We just choose to use the language of astrology to interpret those energies, right? So, and these energies were here before we were here, right? Elements were here before we were here. So, when we go back, when we understand how elements operate, the order of operation, we can understand it within this present day now and really break down larger pictures of things, right? Like the larger picture of what is like world events, or the energy signature or the spirit behind different events and things that are going on. So when we're talking about the elements, there is the earth, right? Water, fire, and air. So it's not for no reason why they say the fire and the air go together, whereas the earth and the water go together. And so if you have these, everyone has one or some of these elements within their chart, their holy trinity, which are the most important: the sun, the moon, and the rising. Depending on the astrologer, they will say what is the most important aspect of astrology. I think understanding it in its totality is important, because you're able to truly see where or what energy in what area, what house is being affected due to the outer horoscope or planetary alignment. Okay, but before we jump into understanding the astrology and the language of elements that do correlate to other spiritual forms, religious forms, cosmologies, so on and so forth, I want to just give this understanding to people who are appreciating the art and the tool of astrology, the language of astrology, and giving the spirit the gift to and being pulled to it, your spirit being called towards it. It's not for everyone. Okay, we have a lot of people today that love to tell you what is right and wrong, right? We have a lot of people we love and enjoy to watch and connect to and relate to that are completely turned off by astrology, and it notches you down a little bit away from them, like, whoa, we can relate on some things, but we don't have that connection there. But ultimately, I just want to reassure you that everything is not for everyone. Our spirits are called to where they are meant to be called. So if you have, if your soul is guiding you towards spirit, towards understanding astrology, that's where your spirit wants to pull you towards. So when we have people that are telling you it's evil, it's wrong, it's this and that, that's just where their spirit is. And it's not, it's like, what's the point of arguing and debating them unless you have that type of spirit within you correlated to the elements and the modality of these elements, right? If you have that spirit within you that makes you want to debate it and argue down people, but there's a thing called free will. Okay, so if a person doesn't agree with your teachings or understanding of how you interpret life or what you utilize to interpret life, then that's their call, right? They have free will to do that and keep it private. It's not for everyone to know then. Speak on it to those who you can connect to, and anyone that's saying you're wrong for doing it, just tell them your spirit's not called to it. And or don't tell them that. Understand that, understand that, know that, right? So we know that now that that's out the way. Yeah, I just wanted to say that. So let's move into the energies, right? When we're talking about elements, we're talking about the four the four elements, which is the earth quality, the water quality, the air quality, and the fire quality. So when you are becoming an interpreter of charts, or if you're learning how to interpret your charts, the way to really get the most out of your interpretation and be able to kind of reflect is to understand the energies behind the titles, because we know that astrology has these characters, right? These personas and these animals that depict the signs, you know, individuality or uniqueness, or what the characteristics, right, based on the creatures or the mythological creatures or whatever. But when we take it back a step and we look at astrology elementally and modality wise, we're able to truly get the understanding of the energy within, that sign. So we know there are 3 signs within each of the elements, right? For earth, there is the Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. For water, there's the Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. For fire, there's the Leo, Sagittarius, Aries. And for air, there's the Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. So the way we kind of differentiate them is by overstanding the modality of all 3 of the signs within each element. Okay? So, I think a great way to kind of move into it is understanding the energy of the elements, right? The reason why all earth signs are connected is because they share the same element, right? But what differentiates them is the modality in which they possess their energies and express their energies. So the earth quality is very grounded. It is very practical. It is very weight, right? It is very dense. It's physical, okay? It's tangible. There's different spirits that can possess within the earth elements. And there's power within the earth element once you work with it. So understanding that, of course, astrology correlates to other spiritual forms. Astrology is more so resource and information, whereas different cosmology, spiritual practices, or religious practices utilize the earth element in different ways that they possess the spirit behind the earth element. When we're talking about astrology, we're talking about the element and how it expresses itself within people, okay, or events, okay, or the energy behind something, right? So if you have the earth energy within you, you want to look at the modality in a way it is expressing itself. Okay? So you may have this very practical, grounded, stable energy, but how is it expressing itself? Is it expressing itself within a cardinal way where it initiates its ability to wheel in or condense things, practicalize things, or make things physical, make things practical, make things routine? Is there a cardinal way, which is an initiating or starting point, or the creation, right? Or is it a fixed earth energy where one can be consistent within the identity that it chooses, right? The fixed earth energy is an energy that you can work with when it comes to having something already established and having it consistent, right? It's the starting point, which is the cardinal energy. It's the consistency, which is the fixed energy, okay? The mutable energy is more creative because it can bounce between the two. It can camouflage itself as the one that started it, or it can camouflage itself as the one who's consistent in it. But overall, we know mutable energy is all over the place within that sector. Okay, so the mutable earth energy is the energy one would work with when it comes to the Virgo energy, when it comes to not only analyzing and understanding the starting point, how things operate, and what it takes and requires to have it consistent. Okay? This is all the earth sector. This is all the earth element. There's just a way to express it uniquely. The earth energy expresses the itself individually based on the modality in which it possesses. So one would want to see where you have that in your chart, so that you can truly capitalize and be the best version of yourself, right? And because sometimes earth energy wants to express itself in the wrong way. So if you are an earth energy that's Capricorn, you shouldn't be operating in a Taurus way, which is fixed earth. You should be the one in charge. You should be the initiator. You should be the one creating the ideas or showing one how it's done. The one who is consistent in its ever-growing change and its ever-growing idea of whatever it wants to identify itself as, or whatever it comes up with, right? That's the Capricorn energy. If you have that in you, you want to stay true to that, because when you begin to play in the lane of the mutable earth, okay, or the fixed earth, you might begin to see things not flowing easy to you, and it's really easy for us to get in the wrong lane, right? Because we are connected to our fellow earth energy, that we begin to express ourselves in the wrong way. Me, I don't have any earth in my Holy Trinity, in my sun, moon, or rising. Okay, I have fire and water. So another thing is, when you understand the energies that you're possessing, right, you can label it as your identity. What are you? Are you earth fire? Are you water air? Are you fire, all fire? Are you all air? What are you, right? in your Holy Trinity. You guys can tell me that too in the comments below. Now, when you move on into, but you want to also, before I move to the next thought, you want to also be very, very well aware of your modality. Because if you are cardinal air, that's a different energy than mutable air, right? If you are cardinal fire, that's a different energy than fixed fire, okay? So know thyself, the energies that you possess beyond the sign, the label, the character, or the animal character, archetype, whatever. Go beyond the fairy tale, the mythology, the story, and fine tune yourself into the energy frequency of the element, okay? And the modality that allows that element to express itself. So there is also the water. Okay, let's say you have water within your Holy Trinity, like I do. You want to know what kind of water you possess, okay? So I'm starting to get a little bit excited here because I possess 2 water signs within my Holy Trinity, the mutable and the cardinal. I don't possess the fixed water within my Holy Trinity, but many of my tool personal planets, like my Venus, my Mercury, things like that, not North Node, but those tools that I possess are the fixed water. So know thyself. Are you possessing the energy of the initiating of one's emotional state of being? Because remember, the earth is different. It's a different sector. It has its different areas that it rules. The water is a very powerful element. Okay, everything is water, right? So when you fine tune yourself into understanding the modality of each water element, you're able to truly capitalize and express it for what it's supposed to be. And you're able to understand your energy better. So if you are the cardinal water, you are the initiator of your own emotions, okay? You identify how you feel, and then you set the record straight, right? You set how you feel and you put that in motion. You stand on that. But how you feel is only in your control, because you are the one who wants to identify your feelings and express them based on your own choice, not the influence of others. So these are very creative people. If you possess the energy of the cardinal water, you're able to create a very in-depth, however deep you want to bring it, relatable energy, okay? Because it's based on something we all have, which is emotions. So these people are able to individually or uniquely, which is the cardinal energy, because they're originals, they're the originators, they're the creators. So they set the trend of emotions, of emotional identity. Very powerful energy if you possess that, right? Let's say you possess the mutable, or no, let's go to the fixed. Now, moving into the fixed, this energy of fixed water will possess you with a very intense energy that you can tap into if you possess it, okay? But overall, ultimately understanding it, when you know someone that might possess this within their personality, persona characteristic, right? You're able to see them for who they are truly. They like to be fixed in their own emotional identity and emotional awareness, right? Whereas the cardinal energy, they're always initiating and starting, creating a new way to feel about things. The fixed water energy is very consistent and stubborn in a way, just like all fixed energy is and can be, based on how stuck or still they stand. Stuck or still they stand, right? Or how set they are, okay? Because fixed energy doesn't budge. It's comfortable in its identity. But a secret about fixed energy, see, this is why it's important to understand modality and element when you're beginning to really develop your awareness of astrology and the language, and feel that inner spirit, that intuition, and the spirit of each individual modality and element, because there's a spirit behind that. When you understand it, you're able to identify it and know the spirit behind it, right? So when you understand the spirit of fixed water, you can tap into being able to really conjure up things. So it's like holding something, containing it, and keeping it. So this is why it's very powerful to have Cancer and Scorpio energy within you. Cancer is the initiator. It starts, the creative juices are flowing, it's water, it's emotion. It's feminine. It's yin, it's internal energy, right? And yes, I'm going to be leaving pretty soon. Oh, I might have to cut this short now that I'm realizing this. But when you mix the modality, the energy of the emotional initiator and the conjurer, that the conjuring energy, which is the fixed Scorpio, it already has its eyes set on what it is that it wants. But the setting of something is initially and ultimately cardinal energy, because it starts it, it sets it, right? So when you have that powerful energy of Cancer to start something based on a feeling, to conjure it is the fixed energy of Scorpio. Okay? So when you understand the element, because it already has its eyes set, it just is keeping it. It's honing it, right? And it's able to truly drain it of everything it's worth, right? Or everything it is. Or this why you guys got to watch out for that fixed water. It's powerful, right? But you understand the energy signatures behind the modality and the element. You know the spirit. You can identify what kind of spirit a person has and what gifts they have. Okay? So everyone knows the basic archetype of Scorpio is the one who can oversee great managers, the ones who are in tune. So they're in tune. So they're very fixed, meaning they're set in their way of how they want to feel. They're set in that, and sometimes the feeling is out of their control. It's not the starter of it. That's cardinal. It's the setness. So if they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, that had nothing to do with their choice. Maybe it's just the outside influences. That's what the way they'll be. And if it becomes repetitive, these are not morning people. Okay, so it just all depends on the individual. Now, when we move into the mutable energy of water, we begin to, it gets a little cloudy here. I have this energy within my spirit, okay? So I could tap into mutable water. So, mutable water is very unique because it does bring everything together. It is connected to the fixed energy, the cardinal energy. It goes with the flow of things because that's what mutable energy is ultimately, right? So one that possesses the mutable water is able to, like, very fluidly, very naturally and organically tap into the energy of others, tap into the energy within themselves, because water is intuitive. The water element in its totality is intuitive. It deals with the feelings and how things feel. So it's not something you see or is practical using the earth element, right? No, it's intuitivity. It's the ability to feel and react off that, right? So it's able to go with the flow of the feelings of others and the feelings of themselves. But it's tricky though. One must be very careful with the energy of mutable water because it's sometimes hard to know what is yours and what is others. And this is the reality of this 3D world we're living in. We're separate. But the mutable water knows how to connect it all back together again. So, and really captivate on its feeling. So that's why Pisces energy is so deep and complex, and it deals with the collective. 12th house sits in the 12th house of the subconscious, of whether the collective, it's in that collective house quadrant, right? It's in the fourth quadrant, right? That is the 10th, 11th, and 12th house of the bigger picture of the world of the collective, right? So one must truly understand the energy signature behind. Okay, I'm sorry, guys, but this is what makes that the mutable water so unique and in depth. Okay, so that's why it's so important to understand the modalities and the energy and the element that we're working with, whether that be in your chart or in another person's chart. Because I possess mutable water, I can go that deep. I can get that mystical. I can get into fantasy because I'm tapped in and connected. It's really strange. And I have the keys to the 12th house. The keys. When you have the keys to a certain house, you unlock everything behind those doors, especially when it's in your Holy Trinity, which is your sun, moon, and rising. When you're able to unlock the 12th house and that sits in you within your Holy Trinity, you're able to tap into mutable water, what connects us all, but gets distorted when it requires disconnection, okay? Gets murky. It's very deep, okay? I'm not going to stay into that energy because I can stay there all day, but because I possess it, right? I possess mutable water. And mutable water, lastly, is it's hard to understand mutable water because Mutable water doesn't deal with mutable or air, right? Or earth, where things make sense, things are practical, or things can be explained. So it's very complex because it's felt. And so these are empathic people too. So I'm going to move along. So now we move above to the fire sector, the energies of fire. Okay. Remember, there are 3 modalities within fire. That has a spirit behind it or an energy signature behind it. So there is the cardinal fire, the initiator, the start, what sets the tone. There's the fixed fire. This is what's set in its ways, right? In its point of reference and wherever it chooses to identify itself based on what is already there, which is cardinal, which is why they all correlate. Then moves into mutable fire, okay? So they all possess a very unique energy and spirit. When you understand the element and the modality, you understand the spirit. It correlates to things outside of astrology, okay? So you begin to pick up on energies of the cardinal fire, which is the initiator, the creator. Aries. This is the Aries energy. The Aries energy, it's so unique and it expresses itself. It's loud, it's bold, it's fire. Okay? It wants to be its own, but it's ever changing. Remember, that's a secret about the cardinal energy. It's ever changing. It's a spiral because it always needs to set something new, whether it's a new trend, whether it's a new way, whatever it is, it's starting something. When Aries is not acting in their element is when they're acting within the fire, the mutable or the fixed. That's when things do not go in their way. When they begin to stay so set in a certain way, that's fixed energy. Things don't work well for them. They begin to lose opportunities, lose people, because they're expressing the element in a wrong lane. You have to stay in your lane. And you have to know what works for you. What works for Aries is always being able to start something new, have their own ideas, have their own way of expressing itself. Okay? Then we move into the fixed fire. It sees, it feels, and then it expresses itself, right? Because there's something unique about the fire and water energy. Fire is like liquid too, right? It flows. It has similarities. So it is inspiration. It is clarity. It is seeing. It is vision. Okay? The fire is vision. It's past. See, this is when things get less dense, where it's physical. It gets less dense. So we're moving into understanding the sector, the element, right? The category is fire. In order to become a great interpreter of energy is to understand the energies, know what they mean. Fire sees, it brings light, it creates vision, but it's felt though. It's inspiration. I possess mutable fire energy. Okay. Now one may possess cardinal fire energy. Remember, that's different. Okay, so we have to give our credit where credit is due. A person that creates a new way to do things, that is Aries energy all day. That is cardinal fire. Right? We have to give credit where credit is due. But let me tell you, once the fixed fire knows how to do it and sees how it's done, they're set in it. They embody it. They create a unique way to do it. That's fixed fire. That's Leo. Okay? And then we move into, of course, the mutable energy, which kind of can camouflage itself, right? It goes into that ability to blend in or go with the flow of things. It can look like the creator. It can look like the consistent energy, but it's neither. It's both and it's neither. It is all and it is nothing. Mutable energy is so important because it binds everything together. So one who possesses the mutable fire energy has a gift of being tapped in tune and being aware of how things are started and how things operate. It's the same way with the Virgo energy, same way with that Pisces energy. And it goes with the flow and correlates between. Okay? Now let's move on. And so know your energies. Know what energy you possess so that you can capitalize in this world. Because this is an earth world. It's a physical world. It has all the archetype of Saturn, Saturn's influence, Capricorn's influence. Look at the world today and what we're living in. It's very cardinal earth, right? So know the energy signature of the era, the time where you live, the events that are going on, the people, the players. It's all the spirits. So now let's move along to our last one because I have to go to work. I have to go pick up my car and a lot of other things. The last one is air, of course. One that I truly admire because I have it. I don't have it at all. Air sits within my houses. So I do have, I can look in the window of the house. It's there, but I don't have and I can go in the house, but I don't have an area within my chart, not one, that has any air energy outside of my third house, Gemini, and my 11th house, Aquarius, and my my third house is Gemini. So wait. I just confused the hell out of myself. My first house has an interception with Libra. Okay. So my 7th house has an interception with Libra. So I'm a Pisces rising, but I have an interception. So Aries is lost in my first house. Libra's lost in my 7th house. Okay. And then I also have my 12th house in Aquarius. Anyways, that's neither here nor there. But I think it's important just for content and for, informational purposes. For those who can follow that far. I know it's complex. So anyways, I can tap into the energies of the cardinal, the mutable, and the fixed air, but I don't have that ability to, how do I say this without saying it wrong? I don't possess the archetype of it or the embodiment of it. I don't embody it. Now, when I'm doing third house things, I really tap into my Gemini third house energy, right? So I could see myself being Gemini, but I don't express it like a Gemini. I utilize the archetypes within my chart. I utilize the energies within my chart, which is usually fixed water. That's my communication. That's my Mercury. Or it's usually cardinal water, okay? Mutable water or mutable fire, okay? So when you know your elements, when you know what's in your chart, you understand your energies. The spirit and the soul is different. Spirit is something you can tap into. It's an essence. It's omnipresent. Okay? And when you tap into it, you can embody it. You can express that spirit that has been here way before you. The soul is yours. It's what you are when you are here and going from here. In this vessel and the next and whatever, right? So that's deep. Okay. I'm getting lost. I'm getting airy where I'm utilizing my communication. So let's talk about this because I gotta go. When it comes to the air energy, we're talking about words, descriptions, information, titles, right? Air is very powerful. We're living in a very air spirit right now. Everything is very air and fire. Because think about it. What we see is being expressed. This is social media. Look at social media right now online. It's air. It's all this communicating. But it's seen and it's using the fire energy of, this is what I want you to see when you tap on my page or my channel or my profile. This is you seeing my energies and, it can be, and this is the way I communicate it, right? These are the captions for it to make that sense to us. So when we're talking about air energy, we're talking about understanding, breaking things down, adding. It's really strange. It's unique. It's not adding weight. It's adding an identity to things that doesn't require physicality or earth energy. It's more mental, right? So it's more of a knowing, understanding, and words. It's utilizing language. All of these things, right? So the air energy, when you're tapping into the modality of it, is differentiated. The Libra energy is the one who initiates the tone, okay? The spoken words. It initiates what we're talking about, how we're talking about it, what side we're on. That is why the Libra energy is a great lawyer. Okay? Me having a 7th house intercepted Libra really gifts me because I have Jupiter in my 7th house. Technically, I'm a Virgo 7th house, right? But Libra's in there too. So I get a lot of people that will stand for me. I attract that energy. I love it. Right? And not just that, they will vocalize and fight you down. You can move into many forms of energy. So remember, when we're talking about the sector, right? We're talking about the section, the division, this quadrant. We're talking about the element of air. We're talking about the energy signature of air and how it's broken down, because air can be utilized with its mutable energy, with its cardinal energy, or with its fixed energy. You just want to know what kind of energy you have within your chart. This moves into other aspects as well of spirituality. Remember, spiritual practice, cosmologies, religion, all of those things. So when we're talking about air, what that would be in spiritual practice of tarot, right? We're talking about the swords. So the sword, right? You can utilize your mouth as a sword. You gotta be careful with them, Libras, because the cardinal air initiates, it creates. It's a very creative communicator. The ideas that will come in one's mind are revolutionary. We have great examples of amazing Libras, right? That were very intelligent. Okay, so people that are more attracted to, or find attraction to the mental energy or the communicative energy, that is looking for um, the leader of one's group that will speak on behalf. Now, when we're talking about air energy, it is very powerful in this realm, in this existence. Okay, there's some that are not as seen. There's some that are required. So air energy across the board is required within this realm of reality to get things done and to get things to move. You might have to pull on a person's heartstrings or emotional, and there's some energy behind the scenes that deals with the intuitive energy, or the way you made a person feel. See, this is all energy signatures. This is all spirit, right? So, and see, let me tell you, my mama has all four elements. I know I'm getting all over the place. Okay, so we got fire, air, water, and earth. She got 4 kids, and they all different signs. Okay, they possess different modalities of the elements. Okay, but depending on your siblings, and there is a such thing as sibling rivalry that is very air energy, because you just disagreeing, right? But when it comes to that air energy, I feel like I'm getting off I need to go back to, oh yeah, so that's what I was gonna say. So the air energy, right? When it comes to the air energy, one must really be very careful, because you don't know who a person knows and who can use their spirit. You don't know what spirit they're possessing, right? A person who can initiate communication is an initiator. These people can create ideas. These people can create narratives. These people can create storylines. These people can, do that. They possess that energy to create, to start, to set the tone of what the perception will be based on the way it's worded. Moving into the cardinal energy, fixed energy, these are the ones who can really persuade, or can really keep a narrative going, because it's fixed earth. So these are your Aquarius, right? These are the ones within the group that's keeping the conversation stimulated, okay, and focused on the topic at hand. So don't be an enemy of an Aquarius, okay? Because they're never going to stop coming for you. This is the energy of fixed air. Don't mess with the spirit of fixed air. See how it's all coming together now, right? If you mess with the spirit of fixed air, you will truly be challenged. And you better come equipped for that air, that wind, that storm, because the fixed air is consistent, it's focused, it's due diligent, and it's analyzing of one. And it will read you your Miranda rights. Okay? Now let's move on to the very last mutable air. This is the Gemini energy. And it's a very unique energy, and it has it has a very distinct purpose, and that is to that is to allow flow and change within the narratives. That is, whereas the cardinal energy is ever changing, there's always going to be something new to create, right? There's always going to be that fixed air energy where there's a focus on whatever the conversation is at hand or the topic is at hand. The mental focus is, and then there's that mutable energy that can remember, like I say, camouflage itself as the initiator or camouflage itself as the consistent fixed energy as well. But it's neither of the two, but it can play both roles. Mutable energy is very unique. It's the one that can go in between and analyze if it wants to. It can focus on something, but then it's going to move off into a new creation of things. It comes after the creation. So it's the energies that bring everything together. So I don't really have too much mutable air energy in me besides my third house energy, but I was raised by them. So I've always appreciated my counterparts because I am a mutable fire sun and Mars. So, but that's fire. So I appreciate my counterparts, which are the opposites of that, which is the mutable air. So those of you who know what I'm saying. Those of you who don't know probably have clicked off the video already. So, but yeah, I gotta go. I hope this information was entertaining to you, to all those spiritual people who are in tune with frequencies, energies, things of that nature, because one must understand that everything can be identified. You can identify the spirit behind something. You just need a language. You just need something set up in place already that will give you the ability to analyze it and understand it, and that way you know what you're going up against. So if you got an opponent, you want to know the spirit behind them. You want to know how they coming and how they're rocking, because they might be coming with a squad, and everybody on their squad, that mixture together will blow you out the water. So this is why they say when we're talking about energies, imagine if we took away the physical vessels, right? And I know my mama's ready. I'm going to miss her call and then I'm going to call her back. I got to go. But imagine, this last thing I'm going to say. Imagine if we took away the physical vessel and we were just the energy. You see? So take what you want. Take this how you want. I hope the information was helpful for you. Have an awesome day, night, evening, whatever it is. And take care of yourself. Please love yourself. Take care of yourself. Listen to yourself. Speak highly to yourself. Be kind to yourself so that you can be that to others, okay? Thank you so much for tuning into Universal Love Law.